Herewith my case for why astral projection, and actually any type of out-of-body experience, is a thing of science and not a thing of the esoteric. From Giordano Bruno in the 16th century, who was burned in the fire of the Italian Inquisition at the Campo di Fiori in Rome. His statue is there till this very day. A philosopher, a poet, a cosmological theorist, and one of the fathers of modern science, actually, Giordano Bruno was. What he did is that he saw Aristarchus's heliocentric model during one of these experiences, which were clearly astral projection during lucid dreaming experiences, burned in the fire in 1600 for it. To Emanuel Swedenborg, astronomer, an inventor, and a mathematician, invited by the University of Uppsala to teach maths, but refused at one point because he started having experiences as well, which he then wrote down in 18 books, 18 diaries of experiences in astral projection, countless types of out-of-body experiences. Emanuel Swedenborg would talk in one of his books about several heavens and several hells. So what is that but the astral cities of light and the astral cities of density in the fourth dimension that Halugamashi, more recent anthroposophists like Halugamashi, talk about. And Francisco Cândido Xavier, also another spiritualist, talks about. Then Allan Kardec in the 20th century, in 1910 he was born, was one of the first to propose, Allan Kardec, to propose a scientific rational approach based on observational facts and observation of anecdotal evidence of what we now brand the occult and esoteric. Rudolf Steiner, in the transition between the 19th to the 20th century, Austrian philosopher, founder of a spiritual science, the actual founder of anthroposophy, again proposed that we should have a more scientific approach towards phenomena like the out-of-body phenomena, be it near-death experience or just out-of-body or just astral projection during lucid dreaming. Edgar Armond, born in the 1940s in Brazil, was the Secretary General of the Spirit Federation of the State of São Paulo, the author of The Exiles of Capella, who proposes, as I have here said, who alleges to have had experiences, namely with his light mentors, where he has seen and where his light mentors have also told him that most of the population that has come into this planet, most of the consciousness, what spiritualists call souls that came into this planet 12,000 years ago, give or take, came from this other planet into a primitive Earth because they had failed to learn their lessons in that other planet that is in the constellation of Capella, and that now is very much a type 2 civilization, right? Francisco Cândido Xavier, finally. Francisco Cândido Xavier, who is also a spiritualist and anthroposophist, and again, a scientist of what we call the esoteric and what we call the occult, which soon we won't be able to call it those names anymore because we have to start researching it through the lenses of science. which is already possible, since in the last conference where I went, when I watched Dr. Michio Kaku, it talked about scientists now being able to see and scan and see our dreams. And what are our dreams? Most of them are nothing but astral projection experiences. Our consciousness literally jumping out of our body suits through our pineal to go and have experiences in other dimensions. Francisco Cândido Xavier, more commonly known in Brazil as Chico Xavier, he was born in 1910 also and died quite old in 2002, who talks about the astral cities of light and the astral cities of density, but more about the astral cities of light, where from where he would receive letters from people in those astral cities of light to family members, letters that he would then transcribe, right? And the author of the book, O Nosso Lar, Our Home, where these astral cities of light in the fourth dimension, in the upper layer of the fourth dimension, are shown. So basically these astral cities of lights are territorial extensions of the higher spiritual planes, of the higher dimensions, which go to the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, according to Barbara Hand Clow. Now, all of this obviously is anecdotal evidence. It's anecdotal material. There's nothing of actual empirical evidence. But what does a scientist do when it sees so many people all through the course of history saying the exact same thing? One looks into it, because now we have anecdotal material that is so similar. We have had so many historical figures say that they have gone through the same things, that they've seen the exact same things, that to not look at it under the clinical scientific eye is what actually does not make sense, right? So reason and common sense tells us that when we have a lot of anecdotal material by different people whom have never even met each other, and that is incredibly similar, we need to look into it. That's one of the missions of my life, is to propagate the word, to have people look into phenomena like astral projection or out-of-body experiences under the clinical scientific guise. And because this is what we should be doing. Obviously, we can be as spiritual about it as we want to. But what I'm trying to do with this channel is to remove the veil of ignorance and to remove the veil of dogma that much of the science of the 21st century is still pervaded by. Because again, when you have this much anecdotal evidence, when you have this much anecdotal material coming from completely different people in completely different parts of the world and in completely different times and spaces, and you put it together, they are all talking about the same. So one must naturally look into it. And so that's the video that I wanted to make today. Why out-of-body experiences need to be looked into through the eyes of science. Of spirituality also, but of science also. Of science also. This has been my video today. Let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, you can think otherwise and it's fine. But please make sure to keep your comments, as always, kind and respectful. I'll see you there for my next video when I do. Bye.